Welcome back to Tough Men of Faith.
How's the head?
My head is fine, thank you.
No more falls?
No, not yet. But there's still time. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yep. Weather's been nice. Been out been taking the bike everywhere.
Yeah, been on the motorcycle a bunch?
A whole bunch.
Nice.
Yep.
You know, I brought up the motorcycle thing again the other day, and I didn't get a firm no.
Yeah.
So we're on the right path.
I want to go on record that I've never encouraged you to get one. So.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know.
I never encourage anyone to get one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we talked about this before.
Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah.
Guys, occasionally I have friends like you, like, hey, you should tell my wife I should get a bike. I'm like, no, I'm not going to. Like, or they'll try to get my wife to tell their wife.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's never going to go for that.
Yeah, no, she's not.
Yep.
My wife doesn't even, she doesn't really ride, so.
Right. She doesn't really condone it, does she?
She doesn't care that I do.
Okay.
But yeah, she's,
Nice.
you know, I wasn't the smartest rider back in my
Younger days?
younger days.
Okay.
And she was on back, and
Oh,
so
no.
she seen me, the last time she seen me go down, she wasn't on, but
Okay,
she
good.
watched it happen.
Yeah.
And
But were you doing something stupid, like trying to show off?
I don't think I was showing off.
Okay.
I was riding a Willie, but
Oh, well, you know.
in a
That's what I'm
parking
saying,
lot, and went down fairly hard, and she watched it happen, and
Okay. She probably freaked all the way out.
she didn't freak out at all.
Really?
No,
Okay.
no.
Were you guys married at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Just recently married?
No, we've been married we've probably been
She's
married.
like, well, this is how it ends.
Been married about 15 years.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. Nice job.
Took me a while to grow up on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, anyways, what we're saying?
Uh,
Oh, that you haven't fallen in a while.
Yeah, I haven't fallen in a while. So,
Yeah. Thanks to our sponsor,
yep.
Increase Jesus.
Increase Jesus.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yep.
.com.
Farmstead Summit coming up.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Use the coupon code.
Tough-10.
Tough-10.
Buy some gear.
Yep.
Then
Okay.
Increase, and then Farmstead Summit.
Farmstead Summit, September 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah. That's in, is that Bell Union?
Bell Union.
It's like 70 in Cloverdale, right?
Yeah, not yeah. It's closer to Indy from
Yeah,
Cloverdale,
okay.
but about 40 minutes west of Indy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Not far from the airport if you're flying in.
Okay.
So 30 minutes from
Yeah.
Indy's airport.
That's not bad.
No.
Probably catch an Uber.
Yeah, maybe. I've never seen an Uber out there, but
Yeah. You never know.
I don't even know how far Uber goes. So it's.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you
Okay.
take it a long ways?
Yeah, dude. I know.
Can you?
I know a guy that used to drive for Uber, and
Yeah.
people would they'd pay him to take them like the first 10 or 15 miles or whatever, and
Yeah.
then they just negotiate a rate. And he'd pull up, act like they dropped him off, and he'd drop him to West Lafayette or
So an hour or two away. Yeah.
I think one time he drove people somewhere clear in Ohio or Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's allowed by Uber, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was downtown the other day picking my daughters up from a concert.
yeah.
So it was late, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
downtown. The next thing I know, this guy's banging on my window, and he's trying to get me taking about 45 minutes north, wanting to pay me to do it. And
Pass.
yeah, it's like, ah. It's like,
Nah, man, I've seen this in a horror movie
Yeah, I was like,
once, and no thanks.
yeah. I mean, he's going, yeah. Anyways, I didn't do it.
How much were you trying to pay?
He didn't give me an amount.
Oh,
But,
okay.
I know the city he was going to, so I figure it's probably a nice place.
Yeah.
I
Great.
got paid to, I come to church early on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
And so this is
People
about
just come in and pay you and don't attend.
No, about 2 years back, I stopped by the same gas station on every Sunday morning on the way here.
Oh, yeah.
About 5 in the morning. Usually I stop in there,
Okay.
and I stop in there, and there's this guy outside it, and sometimes there's some homeless people there and
Yeah.
things, and they're still around at 5 in the morning, and it's like, man, this guy didn't fit the he wasn't homeless in there because I didn't
Right.
recognize him. 'Cause
Yeah.
A lot of them I know. I'm there every week, same people.
Oh, yeah.
It's a younger guy. It's like, man, something looks off with him, and he looks scared.
Yeah. You just invited him to church.
No, well, nope. I come out. He goes, "Man, could you help me?" And he was smelled of alcohol. He goes, "I was out partying with my friends. I live downtown,
Be honest about it.
and we're about 20 minutes south downtown at
Yeah.
this point." And he goes, "I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where my phone's at." He goes, "I know my address."
Okay.
He goes, "But I don't know how to call an Uber. I don't know what to do."
Huh.
So I drove him home, and he's trying to pay me,
Nice.
and things. And I was
Yeah.
like, "No, man." And so when I get down there, he gets out of the car, and he left a couple $100
Really?
on my seat. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's my only Uber drive, right? So,
That's not bad.
no, it's
You
not.
could have died. He could have shot and killed you. Instead
I
of giving you a
I
couple
wasn't
$100.
too, given that I did a risk assessment, I
Oh,
was
I got you.
okay.
Okay.
I was all right.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I had means myself to defend myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, you come with them 2
Oh
guns.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. They definitely look intimidating. What are we going to talk about today?
Man, I was
You came
thinking.
across something, right?
Yeah, I did. I came across something, and I was kind of thinking about it, and it's like I work with these two. I work with these 2 younger guys, day in and day out,
Yeah.
and for the last, I don't know, 10 or 12 years, I've been in some kind of leadership role at
Mhm.
work and, in church. And, I thought about it and I was like, it's like 12 things that every leader needs to hear.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of this applies to you, your family, to you, your job, to you, your church life. And maybe it's good that we talk about it, occasionally,
Yeah.
just to remind people of some of these points.
So you just come across this like on Twitter or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It was on the socials.
Yeah, there's no name attached to it.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll put Nick Robertson's
we'll
on
just
there.
put, we'll use your normal line. I read this interesting quote by C.S. Lewis.
Yeah. I mean, I try to give credit for stuff.
Oh
since
yeah, just give it to Nick.
I don't want someone to hit me on plagiarism from
I
my
stole it
sermons.
from my friend David, so we'll give it credit to David.
So, David, 12 wake-up calls every leader needs to hear.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. So number 1, like if your team's failing, look in the mirror. You're probably the problem. I think as a leader, if your team's failing, you're failing, or you're failing your
Yeah.
team. If your team is winning, then your team's winning, and you're probably helping with that.
Yeah.
So I think about that quite often as I'm leading other
Yeah.
people.
That's a hard one, like especially the more people you lead, or the larger the organization or business or
Right.
ministry.
Yeah.
Because there gets a lot of like downward trajectory.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So you have people separated from you like by several other leaders, but you're
Right.
still responsible for that team,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. I agree. And,
Yeah.
if you're putting the wrong people in the wrong places, or the right people in the wrong places, and there's problems down the line, that I think it's a direct reflection on you,
Yeah.
not necessarily those people.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I don't want to get political on this because
Yeah.
I don't probably know enough to even know if it's true or not. But
Right.
one of the things I heard when in the last presidential debate, and they kind of briefly touched on leadership.
Here we go.
I think it's in a debate or shortly after that. Like one of the things President Trump was asking, like, "Hey, who all is President Biden fired?"
Okay.
Right. So sometimes President Trump gets some people are like, "Hey, he fires people all the time."
Yeah.
And then he's given a hard time. He's like, "Well, President Biden doesn't fire anyone."
Okay.
And I don't know if that's true. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that. I was like, but man, that's true. Like, if you lead an organization or a country,
Yeah.
right? If things are failing, you've got to step up to the place and fire
Right.
some people.
Yeah.
Right,
If you
that's
never-
part of, like-
if you never fire people, that's a direct problem with the leadership.
Yeah. So and then you are the problem,
Right.
not that failed leader because you didn't address that leader. Or, I mean, you don't start with firing. Like there's some coaching and some other things that
Right.
should go involved. But yeah,
Yeah. At some point,
yeah,
you might have to let some people go
right,
that aren't performing at their job properly,
yeah,
and that comes right back to the leadership.
yeah. Leader has to make the hard decisions.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not easy being a leader.
No. No, I always wanted to be a
generally
leader.
don't think it's a lot of fun.
No,
I mean, honestly, it's a lot of work and a lot of responsibility, and
yeah.
yeah.
You strive for it, like think it's the greatest position to have, and then
Yeah.
you get in a leadership position, like
You're like, what was I
Man,
thinking? Number 2 was
pretty
really nice.
lonely here, and yeah. All right, so that was number one. What was number two on
Number
your
2,
list?
if you can't handle criticism, you are not fit to lead.
Oh,
Yep, I'm gonna step on some toes today. Yeah, if you can't take some criticism, you're
Yeah.
not perfect. None of us are. But if you can't take criticism properly and do something with it, you're not fit to be a leader.
yeah.
You know,
I'd agree. I think the two things there. One, you're going to take some unfair criticism
absolutely.
as a leader. There
Yeah.
are some things you're going to. Some
Absolutely.
people, just because you're in leadership, they're
Yeah.
not going to like you.
Like I feel sorry for you on Monday mornings with your
Yeah.
emails. I'm sure there's times where you're getting some criticism.
Yeah, and some of it's like I know that some people they're not going to like me.
Right.
But the other side is like, no, there's some very valid criticism I get.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I like good criticism, good constructive criticism to, people want to point out my flaws or how I can be better. I appreciate that,
Yeah.
So
I can get
if you're
defensive
going to
sometimes.
comment on this video,
Yeah.
I'll look at your constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
if you can't handle criticism, you're not fit to lead.
you're not fit to lead. Number 3, your title makes you a manager. Your people make you a leader. Don't get the two confused. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are managers think that they're leaders,
Yeah.
and not necessarily the case.
Yeah. There's a lot of leaders who don't have the title of manager. Right?
Exactly.
Like they're
Yep.
leading and.
Yeah. Yeah. You can be even below somebody on the totem pole, and you can still be a good leader.
Yep. I met with. I had lunch with one of our mutual friends today, and he
Did you?
told me a couple times that it's not the title.
Where'd you guys eat at?
Fat Dan's.
Okay, that tells me who you met with.
But no, it was good. He was just
Yeah.
talking through about the importance of you can be a leader, really in any place you find yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That leaders need to step up and lead.
Yep, I agree.
So and it was good.
Yeah.
I agree. Like,
Yeah, and it's funny that it seems like most leaders I know, or people in leading positions, they're kind of the leader about everywhere they go.
Yeah.
They find a niche and they put themselves in that, and they
Yeah.
lead just about everywhere they go.
Mhm.
And you have to appreciate that about people.
Yeah.
People that will find where they can lead, where they can help out, where they can drive something forward,
Mhm.
and they'll step into that position.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That one's good.
yep.
Number
Number 4.
4.
Don't preach teamwork and then play favorites. Hypocrisy kills culture.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hadn't really thought about that
I've
one.
been guilty of this before.
Playing favorites.
Playing favorites with employees, and
Yeah.
then preaching teamwork,
Yeah.
and letting certain employees get away with things, and holding other employees to a higher standard, and then preaching this is a team,
Yeah.
and it's not right. I've been guilty of it. I've corrected it, but I have been down this road before.
It can be hard because if you get an employee that's knocking it out of the park, you
Absolutely.
get high expectations for
Yeah.
them, and you got someone else over here who's they rarely show up on time. You're like, I'm just going to let them do what
Yeah,
they want
I'm
to
just
do.
gonna let them
and
slide,
I'm
and
not going to take that
I
on.
want to
but
appreciate what they do when they are here or when they're here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely been down that road.
yeah,
It's a tough one. A lot of people, you actually drive a wedge into your team, whether you realize it or not. If you let that start to happen.
yeah. Well, I like how you mentioned that point that hypocrisy kills culture. That
Yeah.
if you're being hypocritical,
Oh, yeah.
you're preaching that we're teamwork, and then
Right.
it's not really teamwork. Someone
Yeah.
else is doing
Yeah, somebody's
85% of the
carrying- yeah.
work, and
Carrying
Yeah.
the load, and then a couple people are just filling in just
Yep.
just enough to look busy or just enough to get a check.
and that one that's carrying 85% of the load, it's probably on Indeed at night.
Yeah, he's looking for every job opportunity he
Yeah.
can find to get away from where he's at.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. Where we at?
Number 5.
Number 5. Stop micromanaging if you don't trust your team. Why should they trust you?
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have put a comma in there somewhere different. Stop micromanaging if you don't trust your team. Why should they trust you?
Have you ever worked for a micromanager?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't do well with it.
Yeah.
Um,
I could see that.
yeah, I'm not. I feel like if you trust me to do the job, if you trust me enough to hire me, don't micromanage me.
Yeah.
And I talked to a guy recently, and he said, when you start a job or when you're working at a job, I expect you to make mistakes.
Yeah.
He said the problem is when you make that mistake twice or more. He said, it's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if it costs a little bit of money. He said, when you make that mistake a second time, he said, then it's an action. He said, and you didn't plan properly, and that's what caused that action. And that made me think a lot about, what my planning looks like on a daily basis, and how am I. It's okay to mess up once. It's okay to slip once, but it's when you fail to make a plan or fail to do an action that causes you to do that again to mess up, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah. Do you struggle with micromanaging?
I don't. No.
Yeah.
I'm actually really good with giving someone a task and turning them loose, and then
Yeah.
I struggle with taking their word for it that it's done,
Okay.
because I've been in a position many times where I ask somebody if something's done and it's maybe done to their standard,
Yeah.
but not mine, and that's where I struggle with, is that our standards of whatever the task is not the same.
Yeah.
So
That's good. It's number
Yep.
6.
Number 6, if you're not developing your team, you're diminishing them. Step up or step aside. I think it's a good one too.
Yeah.
Really trying to, if you need to teach your team, you need to teach your team. You need to bring them up. You need to help them develop. You need to help them be better. This goes for spouses, and don't get in trouble with this, but this goes for your children. This goes
Yeah.
for people in your church. If you're not constantly raising them up and building them up and trying to make them better and make them more, then
Yeah.
ultimately you're causing them to fail,
Yeah.
or you could be causing them to fail.
This is a hard one or an easy one to overlook.
For sure.
right? Because you can get busy with doing the work,
You can get busy with anything.
and then not spending time to say, hey, where do you see yourself heading? How
Yeah.
can I help you get there?
Right.
How can I help develop your skills?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
Number 7, if your team's afraid to speak up, you've already failed as a leader. I like that.
Yeah.
I think about, we serve on a board at the church, and I think you surround yourself with guys on that board that aren't afraid to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
If they see something wrong, they see something out of line, it's not guys that just necessarily go with what you want them to do. I feel like I work for a guy in my 9 to 5. Same thing. It's
Yeah.
open door policy. You can always come and speak up if you have a problem. And I think that's a good way to lead.
Yeah.
Is to make sure that there's an open door policy on speaking up.
When I think you mentioned it on that list, right? You failed as a leader, right? If your team's not willing to speak up when they see an issue,
Yeah.
or hey, we could do it better this way, or
Right.
there's a struggle over here, like
Yeah.
that's not
you're
good
failing.
for the ministry, the organization, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is, and maybe
Yeah.
it's just your home life.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, or your wife or spouse has a problem, and they're scared to speak up about said issue,
Yeah.
then yeah, you're failing. You're failing them.
Mm-hmm.
You're failing your children. You're failing your spouse.
Yeah.
There's a lot there to really. You could really unpack
There
that.
is. We could spend an episode on all these.
Right. Exactly.
Number 8.
Number 8. If you are not accountable, you are not credible. Own your mistakes. I don't have a problem with this one.
You don't?
I do on occasion. Yeah. No one likes making mistakes. No one likes owning up to their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to be credible, you would have to own them and own up to it. We all make mistakes. It's part
Yeah.
of it. It's
When
part
as
of
the
learning
leader, you're
process.
owning up to other people's mistakes too.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it kind of goes back to number 1, that if the team's failing, you're failing as
Yeah.
a leader. So it's like one of those, like, hey, it stops with me.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is, and like I find myself in this position, because we're building custom homes for people, and
Mm-hmm.
I find myself talking to the homeowners a lot. And if they see something that's out of line, ultimately that falls on me.
Yeah.
If I didn't catch it, or, and it's not necessarily, I don't say, well, sorry, the framer screwed that up. It's
Yep.
sorry, we screwed that up,
Yeah.
and we will fix it. And
Which can be hard to say sometimes.
absolutely,
'Cause
yeah.
you're thinking,
Sometimes you don't really
I
want to
didn't swing
say
a
it,
hammer
and-
for that.
What's that?
A lot of times, like, I didn't swing the hammer or drive that nail. But
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, you find yourself in that position too. If somebody
Yeah.
in your church staff, has a problem or an issue,
yeah.
we will fix it. I will fix it.
Yep.
I will fix whatever this is. And, I think that same thing, with your spouse,
Yep.
be accountable and be credible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 9.
Number 9, don't just set the pace, set the standard. Excellence is contagious.
That's good.
Yeah. You find this with your preaching, don't you?
Not to set the pace, set the standard.
Set the standard. When you preach excellence, it's contagious. Other people want to.
Yeah. I would struggle with this one on setting the pace.
Yep.
Because I think at times I can probably set a pretty like fast pace in a work environment.
Yeah.
Just because I'm wired that way naturally.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean we're always.
It doesn't mean everybody's at that pace. or
Everyone's
can
not
work
at that pace, right? And they may need to work at a different pace.
Yep.
And that's okay. Like we're wired differently.
Yeah. But I think at the same time, maybe you can't keep up with the pace, but can you keep up with the standard?
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing, is make sure that everyone on your team knows what the standard is.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of goes back to home life too. Make sure your wife knows the standard. Make sure your kids
Yeah.
know the standard. Make sure, yes, you may see things going on over here. You may see kids acting this way or doing this thing, but you're a part of the Stringer family, or you're a part of the Robertson
Yeah.
family, and we don't behave that way.
Yeah.
And here's the standard.
Yep.
Be better than the standard, but here's the standard. Don't let yourself drop below, this bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the same thing, with your work life, with your church
Yeah.
life, with everything. Here's the standard. Know what the standard is and perform and be better than that.
Yeah. It's good.
So
Number 10.
Number 10, your team doesn't work for you. You work for them. Serve to lead.
This is a good one to keep in mind as
We
a
talked
leader.
about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
This is I get to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not without your team, you really have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Without your spouse, without your wife, without your kids, your girlfriend, whatever, without that team and that bond, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might need to humble yourself
Yeah.
to realize that.
We have this guy that comes to church here.
Yeah.
He can no longer come because he's older. He's mid-90s.
Okay.
But he loves talking leadership, which
Yeah.
I just love talking with him. And so this is the one he hits on all the time with me. Is he worked at a large transmission company in the city.
Okay.
And worked there through like the 40s and 50s and some
Yeah.
early times on leadership. And he'd always say like, man, I didn't really know how to do anything. He goes, but they put me in a leadership position. He goes, so I just walked in there and I asked the team, I said, what do you guys need? Because I'm just here to work for you. And that was his mentality through like decades of
Okay.
leadership. And so he really had a pretty storied career and like his team like outperformed and things like that.
Yeah.
Just did incredible things. And he's like, leadership's simple. He goes, you just go to your team and you let them know anything you guys need, I'll do for you.
Yeah.
And then he names like some specific like this small stuff like
Yeah.
on getting them like candy, and then like when they needed longer breaks, he's like, and I would go in those management meetings and I'd tell them this is what my team's getting. And so it's all on that mentality of like,
Right.
I work for you.
Well, and I think it kind of goes back to, the other one, setting the standard. If you can
Yeah.
relay to your team what the standard is, and then you can go to your team and say, okay,
Yeah.
here's my standard, here's what I have to have, but what can I get? What can I do for you to make that happen?
Yeah.
And if you're building your team and pushing your team, while also setting the standard that they expect, I mean, this puts you in line to be a really good leader.
Yeah, it's good. Number 11.
Number 11, if your actions don't inspire, your words won't lead. Your words won't lead by example.
Yeah. So if your actions don't inspire, don't expect your words to do it either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if they don't see you doing it, then
Yeah.
don't think that you're going to be able to tell them to do it.
Yeah, you can give a good speech like
Right,
and fire
Yeah.
some people up, but if they work with you every day,
right.
um,
Yeah, they know that,
they know.
that nothing's going to change or nothing's going to get fixed.
Yeah.
This is like the State of the Union addresses. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And then when things don't happen, it leaves you less than inspired.
Yeah, that's a good one. That
Yeah.
you have to follow through with some actions.
Yeah, you
like,
have to follow
if you really
through.
want to inspire people.
Yep.
Last one.
This is the hard one, but a leader takes the blame and shares the fame. No exceptions.
That's a tough one.
Yep. And I think any leaders, has been in this position that, when something on the team fails, you've failed.
Yeah.
And when the team is succeeding and doing well, then we all are doing well.
Yeah.
I think I see this. It seems like here lately I see more of this out of professional football coaches.
Yeah.
And you see good speeches that they put on, after a game that I failed
Yeah.
today. I failed to lead them to a victory or, and then when it's a win, it's we won.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part of being a leader is that when the team fails, you failed. When the team wins, we've all won.
Yeah.
And it's a shared victory, and I feel like it's an owned loss.
Yeah. That's good. Football coaches never really thought about it. They have a tough leadership job, right?
Yeah, they do.
They're trying to lead all these guys, and they're
Yeah.
usually like in a university or a professional level where they
Right.
have management and everyone else with pressure, and then all the fans,
Yeah.
and the media.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. I mean, that's kind of like pastors.
Well, I don't know, but they have a lot. Yeah, and when they win a football game, like no one cares about their strategy. It's like
Yeah,
the quarterback or the guy hit the shot. And,
yeah, you won.
Until they lose, and like that's because that coach.
Yeah, that's because that coach is terrible at his job.
Yeah. And if the coach threw the quarterback or running back under the bus, then
Yeah.
he's going to look awful, right?
Right.
It's like, so-
Yeah, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
not what happened. Not from a good leader.
Yeah.
You're not throwing your guys under the bus or your wife or your spouse
Yeah.
or your kids.
Yep.
It's a shared we lost, but
Yeah.
when it's a shared, it's an I lost, I
Yeah.
think. And then when there's a victory, then it's a we won and we did it right.
Yeah.
So-
This has been good.
Yeah, I think it's really good for leaders to know this, or anybody going into a position in any kind of management where they have people under them,
Yeah.
or even really just in your marriage and with your kids.
Yeah.
This is
Well, thanks to Mark. Is that who you said?
David.
David.
Yeah, thanks, David. It's like Mark.
Thanks, David, for sharing that with Nick.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So anyway, we got the Farmstead coming up.
Coming up
Summit.
Soon.
Farmstead Summit.
soon. Yeah.
September 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Sign up.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be great.
We're doing some breakouts,
Yep.
some teaching, some
Camping.
physical fitness.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Eating.
Some Highland games and some
don't
kilts.
know.
You want to do some of that?
Nope.
Good. I don't want to wear my kilt.
Okay, I don't want you to wear your
No,
kilt.
no, I'm camping out around 50 or 60
All
dudes.
right, we've had enough today.
And then our sponsor, Increase
Increase
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yep.
Check them
that out. IncreaseJesus.com.
Tough 10.
Use code TOUGH10 at your checkout to save 10%.
Yeah.
And tell Seth we said hello.
Yeah. See you next week.
See you. Thanks.